What happened to the game?
Hello Northville, this is a public service announcement on censorship. More specifically, it's on censorship of 1984, a book by George Orwell. Unfortunately, 1984 has been banned. The American Library Association banned this book, as well as Jackson County, Florida, banning this book in 1981. But what truly makes this book so vile that people can't read it? There are two main reasons why this book is banned. First and most prevalent issue is this idea of pro-communism. Pro-communism is basically supporting of communism. This book does have a government that is communistic as well as totalitarian, Big Brother. They brainwash the citizens. They make them believe what they say is true. They'll say something in our speech a year before. It doesn't turn out to be true. Then there are government workers that are there to fix that speech, to make it true, and then they delete the old copies. They basically are rewriting history. And all these citizens, they have no idea what's going on. They believe everything. They're mindless drones. If 2 + 2 was to equal 5, they would believe it if the government said so. 4 years before, Winston can remember that Oceania or Airship 1 has been at war with East Asia. But now, they're at war with Eurasia, and the government says they've always been at war with Eurasia. So Winston had to go through all the documents, delete every East Asia, and then put Eurasia back in it. And so, history's rewritten, and nobody has no idea what's going on. This government is messing up society. The proles are the poor people, which is 75% of the population, are living in shanty towns. They can't drink certain wine. They can't eat certain food. Their life is terrible. By Orwell portraying the government as evil or as the enemy, he's actually promoting pro-freedom. This plays into his idea of doublespeak by saying the opposite of what you mean. He's saying that the government is communist, but it's bad, so he's promoting freedom. The second issue is the sexuality and the vulgarity of it. There is a scene where Winston does supposedly engage with relations with coworker Julia in the field. So they go off in this field, and they leave work, and they get together after confessing their love for one another. Well, nothing actually goes on in that field. All that is said from the book is that Winston likes Julia's body. He enjoys her presence. They're holding each other waist to waist. They're laying breast to breast. Breast is the chest. This is the breast right here. It's not that big of a deal. Winston hasn't had a wife for a couple of years now, and he's just exploring women. He's enjoying himself in front of women. And so, in the book, it never explicitly says they did it. All it said was that they enjoyed each other's company, talked about the party, talked about how they love each other, and then bam, next morning, they're next to each other. There's no big deal. Kids have already learned about sexual education years before, so how is this any different? There's no graphic scenes, there's no nothing. It's not that big of a deal. High schoolers across the nation should have a chance to read 1984. This book, 1984, has nothing wrong with it. I have proved there's no pro-communism in this book. I've proved that sexuality isn't that big of a deal within this book. So, what is really holding people back from reading this book other than themselves? People need to take the time and go read this book. Because one, it gives a great view of a communistic government resembling that of Stalin. It'll give people a better insight to that of World War II and how he ran his government. It'll give a true insight to how a communist government can be. So by really banning this book, we're only taking away from our future generations and our posterity. Banning 1984, we're acting like the government from 1984. From Fahrenheit 451. Do you want to be like the society in Fahrenheit 451? I certainly don't. Now back to your feature programming, folks. This has been a Northville Public Schools public service announcement. Now back to your feature presentation, folks.